It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Breakfast after getting Monday out of the way as we continue to break down the Aussie property market for you. And if you're a new listener and you want to get in touch with us, doesn't necessarily have to be property. It might be with regard to the Iran war and the Aussie economy and how you think that might impact on the real estate market. Use our voice recorder. It's available in the show notes below. Very easy to use. Just click on the link and start talking. Or, of course, you can use the trusty email, which is myrealestatepodcast@gmail.com, where it's a Tuesday, March the 24th. And over the last week, we've been highlighting some of the numbers around regional areas. Last week, we were in Ballarat and also Geelong talking about that very thing. Yesterday, we were in WA, in Mandurah, and boy, don't they have a fantastic story to tell. And this morning's spotlight is in Tamworth, of course, known for country music, but there's a lot more going on there right now. Buyers are starting to take a closer look, not just for lifestyle, but for value. And compared to capital cities, prices are still relatively accessible, and that is drawing both first-home buyers and investors, just pretty much the same as all these other areas that we've been highlighting in the past week. What's interesting, though, is how steady this market is. It's not boom and bust. It's a consistent market. How unusual for the Australian property market to be acting in this way. So right now, let's go to Tamworth and catch up with Mark Sleiman from PRD Real Estate. And I do recall Asti Mardiasmo telling me, it might have been 12 months ago when she was there, just how much of a wonderful time she had. And good morning to you, Mark. Welcome on to the Real Estate Breakfast. Yes, Asti seemed to fall in love with Tamworth.
Yeah, she sure has, and she's made a number of visits here in Tamworth and has enjoyed those visits. We've enjoyed having her, and she brings all her up-to-date data from the PRD Research Department at head office, and that is data-driven, highlighting the fantastic place, which is regional New South Wales.
Yes, she's full of information, no doubt about that. Now, Tamworth is a major regional centre in New South Wales, known, of course, for its agriculture, the music scene. How big is this? And I'll talk about the country music in just a moment. Also, the strong local economy. It is offering up a mix of affordability, as I mentioned. You've got the infrastructure there. People are moving for the lifestyle. The city does blend that rural charm, doesn't it, with urban convenience?
Yeah, it sure does. And there's a number of clients that we're meeting. It's certainly escalated over the last few years. People that are coming from metro locations and other larger format rural areas and settling here in Tamworth and the greater region in the Liverpool Plains area as well because of our affordability and our way of life.
Yeah, so just coming back to what I mentioned, how interesting it is that you've got this steady market, not the boom and bust, but the consistency. And it is pretty unusual. You know, you have a look at even some of these regional areas because people are flocking in. It does sort of change the optics of it, but you seem to be pretty steady there.
Yeah, we certainly are. I think that over the years, people have attributed investing in regional locations chasing asset growth. And normally regional and asset growth ties itself to a large contributor to a regional area, say, for example, a mine or the Defence Force, or they go to a place and then all of a sudden houses are worth double what they were worth previous to that. And there are plenty of regional areas areas where they have a mine or they might have a large government presence, and that's what stabilises and grows that economy. However, places like Tamworth are very well known for that stability due to the fact that we aren't reliant on one or two heavy hitters as far as an industry is concerned. We have a number of different industries that contribute to the Tamworth and greater region economy.
Yeah, so that is interesting coming out of Tamworth this morning. There's a lot of first home buyers, Mark, that are listening right now. Can you tell us what the latest median house price is there in Tamworth and why, this is pretty important, a first time home buyer would look at moving completely out of the region that they are in, it might even be interstate, and look at buying into a Tamworth?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It comes down to the fundamentals of the job offering. So we have a number of fantastic roles here in Tamworth. So people move for work, especially if they're moving away from family. And there is plenty of work here in Tamworth available. And secondly, the median, to answer your question, is now around the $700,000 here in Tamworth. And across the board, and looking at other locations, it is still affordable for a young first home buyer couple looking to purchase an asset.
So you say around the 700K mark. What is that actually buying you in terms of land size and house?
Yep. So it would purchase a 3 or a 4 bedroom property, depending on location. But if we're looking at a median, you'd have to say 3.5. So 3 with a study, and then potentially a 650 square metre block of land in a relatively close to CBD location. That's what you would get for that.
Tell us a little bit about Liverpool Plains and Tamworth, the median house price, the way in which that's growing, because Liverpool Plains house price is 73% cheaper than Greater Sydney, and Tamworth is 60% cheaper than Sydney.
Yeah, it sure is. They're very affordable to purchase a property in Tamworth and the Liverpool Plains area, and that's where our other office is here in Tamworth. So we've got Tamworth and Liverpool Plains, which is around 30 to 40 minutes from Tamworth south, and we're seeing large format properties, agricultural assets selling for large numbers. We're also seeing still a steady and affordable source of properties hitting the market and growing exponentially as you have the data there to prove.
Tell me about this. Is this true? Liverpool Plains and Tamworth Council's house rental yields is much higher than Sydney Metro. Have I got that right?
You've got that right on the mark, but that's not new to us. We've always historically had a much higher rental yield than the metro locations due to the simple fact that the entry into metro locations is substantially higher than the rental values. Whereas here in Tamworth, for example, you can purchase a home for $600,000-$700,000 that would rent for around that $630 a week. So we're seeing that the gap is shorter here in Tamworth. You can actually purchase a property once you've paid the deposit and take a loan that it will almost take care of itself in a lot of cases. So that's completely unheard of in metro locations, where even if you pay a 10, 20 or 30% deposit and borrow the rest, you're still tipping in. It's almost always going to be a negatively geared investment, whereas you can still purchase a neutral investment here in Tamworth and Liverpool Plains.
Listen to expert perspectives with exclusive real estate conversations and supercharge your knowledge base with us.
And right now it is time for another property tip, and we're going inside Victoria and catching up with Kate Ashton again. She's from Maryborough, and a very good morning to you, Kate. You've got a property tip for us this morning?
Good morning, Craig. I certainly do. So if you're going to an area to look at purchasing property and you haven't been there before, my high suggestion is go and stay there for a few days. Probably not on the weekend, but immerse yourself. And when you get there, turn right, turn left, see if people say hello, look at what is important to you, and if it connects to you. You will connect with a house and a house will connect with you, and the same as a community.
We dive deep into topics like buying, selling, investing, and maximising your property's value, from mortgage advice to the latest property data and trending numbers. Your real estate journey starts here.
Now, Tamworth is roughly a 4 to 5 hour drive from Sydney, which is making it accessible but still far enough away to feel like a completely different pace of life. The balance between connectivity and lifestyle is a big part of what you've been talking about this morning, which is why regional markets like this to continue to attract steady buyer interest. How nervous are you, Mark, at the moment with this Iran war and the oil problem? Because not too many people would be looking at driving to Sydney at the moment, would they?
It could be a surprise to some of your listeners, but when things like this happen, we tend to get a little excited about the matter because most people look to divest or to liquidate their assets in the stock market and look at investing in more secure assets. For all the reasons we've just indicated, Tamworth is one of the most secure places to invest in a very secure asset class, being real estate. We will see an increase in property values and we'll see an increase in the demand for real estate here in Tamworth and Liverpool Plains. And what this Iran crisis will do will escalate the matter.
Okay, so Tamworth better than gold, perhaps at the moment. Talking of gold, there are a few well-known names that have come out of Tamworth, including country music star Keith Urban, who spent part of his early career there. How big is the big golden guitar at the moment? Because it is one of Australia's iconic roadside attractions.
Certainly is, and we really enjoy the relationship that we have as a town with country music. It does a lot for our national identity across the globe, but it also does a lot for our town. We enjoy that relationship with Keith Urban. We've got some fantastic, well-known acts like Lee Kernaghan that come out of Tamworth that put us on the map as far as country music is concerned. And we enjoy that 10 days every year at the beginning of the year and strongly recommend anyone that's looking to let their hair down in January to come to our Tamworth Country Music Festival. It's an annual festival that we hold here and it is an absolute ball of fun. But if you do intend on coming from, say, Sydney or Brisbane or Melbourne to enjoy the festival, recommend booking your accommodation now because we tend to swell. We're 40, 50, 60,000 people here. We tend to swell to over 100,000 people during the festival, and you'll need to make sure you book your accommodation.
Oh, good stuff, Mark. I think you have broken that down pretty well for us this morning. Tamworth is definitely on the radar of not only investors but first-time home buyers as well. Thanks for breaking that down for us on our Tuesday morning, and thanks for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Thanks.
Unlock the secrets of real estate and stay informed about the latest real estate buzz with hot market trends, emerging suburbs and hidden gems.
I think we've won the Tourism Award 3 years in a row, so it's the biggest day destination in Australia for tourists. It's definitely being seen now, and that's another reason why people are attracted down this way.
One of the key reasons for that is the affordability versus Perth. Entry price is significantly lower than Perth Metro, larger blocks and waterfront options, and you talk about, with good reason, that coastal estuary living.
Absolutely. So there was 32% occupancy in the Mandurah greater region, and so that means 68% of properties owned was to investors. The owner occupancy rate has now transitioned to over 70%. It has boomed. There's a lot more shopping centres, schools, there's a lot more attractions here for people to call Mandurah home.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.